Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What an absolute load of shit Manchester United truly are these days. I'm sorry to kick off the video like this, but it's a fucking disgrace, man. Aston Villa, shitty Aston Villa, championship fodder Aston Villa, coming to Old Trafford and looking like the better side, looking like the more likely to make something happen. What sort of world are we living in? What sort of messed up reality have we wandered into, where Aston Villa are coming to Old Trafford and bossing the game, and looking the more likely to make something happen, and looking the more dangerous throughout? What sort of fucking world are we living in these days, lads and lasses? It's the Pig here on Flying Pig United. Thanks for stopping by. The game has finished at Old Trafford 2-2. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 2. I cannot quite understand how Manchester United are so bad. How we are so bad, I do not get it. There's some serious problems at United. The way we're setting up, the way we're going about, it's fucking dreary. Do you know what I mean? It's right out of the Moyes playbook. What are we doing? We're clueless. Solskjaer deserves a lot of the blame today, in my opinion. You know, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but there's a lot of pressure on this United side. And what does he do? He plays Pereira and Fred in the centre of the park in those two sort of holding midfield roles. That doesn't sound like a good idea, does it? It's a shit idea, in fact. He gave Mata an opportunity today. Wasn't really deserved. Mata was absolutely terrible. He stunk the place up like one of frickin' me nan's frickin' paellas or something. It was disgusting. Terrible performance from him. The rest of the team, I'm sorry, just not committed enough, not good enough. It doesn't look like the players are knowing what to do in certain roles. Now, going forward for United today was dreary, man. Anthony Martial up top there. Anthony Farcical, more like. Where's the movement, lad? Where's the freaking support? You're playing the number 9. You're supposed to be the striker. Daniel James is doing his lung-busting runs down the right-hand side, beating the man every single time, laying the freaking ball up for you on a plate, on a sixpence in the 6-yard box. There's no bastard there waiting for it ever. That's a big problem. We don't seem to know what the players are doing in those sorts of attacking phases. If you looked at the way Villa were attacking United today on the counter-attack, they had a clear ethic. They're getting down the right, they're whipping it in, they're getting support in numbers, waiting for it, either on the far side of the pitch or in the middle there. They're waiting for it. United, on the other hand, though, playing like a bunch of headless chickens up top there. Playing like a bunch of headless chickens going forward, man. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't defend the way that we're going about our football at the moment. The first half performance was dreary. I thought the last time out in the previous game against Sheffield United was the worst first half performance I've ever seen as a United fan. This one, though, takes the bloody biscuit. That's what I'm saying. It was truly terrible. Villa, way the better side in the first half. Grealish scored a goal that was right out the top drawer. He caused us all sorts of problems all day long. Top player that United should be looking to try and get, to be fair. He might be a bit of a freaking twat, but he's better than the useless twats we've got in our side at the moment. At least he's a good player. At least he's hungry. At least he's a leader. We just ended up sacking him down and scything him down time and time again because we couldn't get the better of him. In a footballing sense today, he caused us all sorts of problems. We literally made him look like freaking Jack Messi today. We did everything we could to try and make it an easy game for Aston Villa. And I just don't understand the setup of the team, the style of football that we're playing. We're at home, we're playing Villa, let's get at them, let's create, let's get in behind, let's basically do what Villa did to us. But no, we can't play that way. It was so slow, there wasn't enough penetration in the final third. It was just dreary, man. Apart from Dan James having a lot of joy penetrating them down the right, we really didn't have much to offer going forward in that game. Sure, we scored a couple of goals. We got undeservedly back into the game just before half-time. Andreas Pereira with a good bit of skill throughout, his moment of the game. Same with Rashford, who, apart from that moment of the game, was absolutely bloody Mashford out there. And Pereira, not much better throughout the game. But that moment, to get back into it, was a good bit of play by both of them. But let's not get away from the fact that this United side is one of the biggest steaming piles of shite of United sides we've seen certainly in my lifetime. It's the worst I've seen in my lifetime. There's a lot of factors for it, of course. You can't just blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You can't just blame the players. You can't even just blame the owners. Although I think the owners and Woodward, they're the biggest culprits for this. They're the problem. Selling Lukaku, Sanchez, not getting any forward players for replacement. We're seeing the problems that are being caused by that now. We're seeing how light our midfield is. Why the fuck are we playing Pereira and Fred in the centre of the park? They're both freaking cartoons. cartoon characters. They shouldn't be anywhere near United's actual starting 11. I'm sorry, not in that position anyway. Maybe in a slightly more advanced role. Neither of the bastards can defend. Did you not see the first goal? Jack Grealish has twisted the blood of Andreas Pereira and made him look like an absolute tit. I feel sorry for Andreas Pereira. He's not a defender. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's a creative attacking player. That's what he does. Why is he even in that position where he's the man with the duty to defend? Solskjaer, mate. Have a fucking look in the mirror, honestly. It's a bad decision to go with that two-man midfield. Anytime we went at Aston Villa, anytime we got forward, we didn't have a final penetrative attack. We gave the ball away, we turned possession over, we give it to Villa, they hit us swiftly on the counter-attack, time and time again. Jack Grealish causing all sorts of problems for us, Trezeguet, all sorts of problems for us. And they got at Manchester United and they got in behind our defence numerous times. It's totally unacceptable. I just want us to take a special moment to talk about the defensive problems at United. This isn't a United defence. I'm sorry, Maguire's coming £80 million, mate. Might as well flush it down the shitter. Do you know what I mean? You might as well spend your money on one of those bobbleheads that you get that they used to do, those freaking bobblehead football players, and stick one of those static twats at the back there. It's about as bloody good. Victor Dwindloff. Victor, what the hell is he all about? Okay, he scored and leapt like a salmon and got himself a good goal today. Nice one, Lindelof. But it's only really trying to redeem himself for the shite that he's done throughout this game and this season. Some of the defending today was straight out of the dog and duck fucking handbook. It was straight out of the under-15s. I don't know what was going on there. The second goal that Aston Villa scored in particular, just after we got back into the game, by the way, and are winning 2-1, and all we got to do is see out the game at home against shitty Aston Villa. What did Villa do? They play a routine corner, a short corner, and then they played it to the edge of the area where their man is waiting for it in a clear acre of space. A clear acre of space. I mean, come on, lads. Who's marking up the fucking players in this team? Acre of space, and what does he do? He just gives it the old Cantona little freaking chip over the defence where no bastard is marking up their players. Honestly, watch that second goal. You wouldn't believe this is a professional football team defending the way they were. You wouldn't believe it. Look at that second goal that Aston Villa scored. You will not believe that's a Manchester United defence defending that. There's 5 Aston Villa players in a little bubble, all together in a little bubble. The ball's just played over the top of the defence. They're onside. Mings is onside. It's an absolute sitter of an opportunity because nobody is being marked up by any United player whatsoever. Truly one of the worst defensive displays I've seen by United today. And the first goal was a defensive nightmare as well. Just allowing Grealish to get his goal away there. Not really Pereira's fault, I suppose, because he's not a defender. When is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to get this? I know it's not easy. I know we don't have the midfield players at the moment, but Fred and Pereira is such a negative choice in the centre of the park there. When you've got Levitt, when you've got Garner, some of these other younger players who are not going to do any worse. They're not going to do any worse than those players that are selected out there today because they're not any worse. They might only be 17 years of age. They might have only had 2 minutes experience playing for United, but they're not any worse than Fred or Pereira in my opinion. And we're talking about a player who got a good assist today, so it's not exactly even his fault. It's just the fact that the role he's being played in is not for him. It's like Pogba. You know Pogba doesn't like defending. You know Pogba's not 100% a great defender. It's not what the part of the game that he enjoys to do. He likes to create. He likes to attack. He likes to get up there in an advanced position and influence the attacks. So do that then. Play it to its strengths. Same thing with our midfield. Why are you playing Fred and Pereira? Big mistake. Big mistake by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there. Right there. It doesn't give us the stability in the centre of the park. It's overrun. We're absolutely shy. And if you're talking about some of the selections and decision problems that Ole made throughout today, the substitutions are questionable again. Come on, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when are you going to learn that Jesse Lingard, if he was not a professional footballer, would be mopping out the toilets at freaking Marwell Zoo or something? He is not a United quality player, okay? He would be working literally at Sports Direct and sacking off. If he was not a professional footballer, he would be working behind the counter and sacking it off big time, working at Sports D. That's what I'm saying. So, understand that. Don't bring him on as your go-to man. He's useless. He doesn't give us any other option. Juan Mata was literally about as useful as a freaking one-legged prostitute out there today. But that's better than Jesse Lingard, who's about as useful as a no-legged prostitute, that man. Why the hell are we playing these players out there, honestly? I don't get that. And wait until the 80th minute to bring Mason Greenwood on, somebody who might actually be able to nick us a goal and influence the game. I just don't understand it from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Look, I want the guy to be a success, but he's making silly decisions. He's making silly substitutions. He's not influencing the game properly. After that first half performance and how terribly drab it was, I really expected us to come out second half and look so much different and look better and have changed and have seen the problems we were having. You know, I think there was a lot of problems defending on the flanks for United today. Do you know what I mean? Anytime they got the ball on the counter, it's like we didn't have Wan-Bissaka, we didn't have Williams there. They were already committed up there. And so all they had to do was play it down the wings and then they could get away on the counter-attack. We can see that. I could see that in the first half. Why don't we address that a little bit? Do you know what I mean? Maybe tell Williams not to go forward so much. Maybe tell Wan-Bissaka not to go forward so much. Maybe if they do overlap, maybe get the player in front of them to drop back and defend. But no! We didn't do any of that. So it's just truly one of those performances by United today that's pitiful. We were set up wrong. We defended terribly, schoolboy defending. We didn't create barely enough. The penetration from the forwards was dreary, man. Sure, Rashford's got a goal. Nice one. Other than that, he was a complete donkey boy out there. He did nothing. You're talking about Dan James. He was excellent today, actually. Let's give the credit where credit's due. He put in a shift. Dan James is the sparkling light in this shite of a season. Do you know what I mean? Like, the spark of Manchester United have been well and truly covered in shite this season. But there's just a little bit poking through that's still shining and sparkling, and that is Dan James at United. He's been a breath of fresh air. Cheap bargain player coming in. It's been brilliant. Today, the amount of times he's cut them open down the right there and got past the defender and whipped a good ball in was numerous. You know, it's not his fault that no bastards on the end of it. He's putting it into a good area. Okay, you know, but he needs support, and he was not getting the support. Anthony Martial, terrible performance from him today. I love Anthony Martial. I want him to be a success. He's not going to be a success playing like that. Where's the movement from the lad? Where's the bottle? Okay, he wasn't getting the service, to be fair, but I mean, it was just all round absolutely piss poor from the lads out there. I just want to say that it all does stem from the owners, it stems from Woodward, it stems from the Glazers, it does, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man, the pressure is mounting on him now. He's just lost to Villa after a terrible run of results. We're down in 9th place in the Premier League now. We could have been up to 5th, that's how little points are actually separating those teams, but that is what it means at this moment. You're either 5th in the league, you either got the pressure off, or you're 9th in the league, and the pressure's bang on, because we should be doing a heck of a lot better than that. We're struggling to stay in the top 10 in the league right now. This is a mid-table season for United. You know, if you're talking about, oh, are United a mid-table team now? The answer to that is fuck yes. We're in the mid-table. We've been stuck in the mid-table all season. We're a mid-table team. Okay? If we'd have won the game today, we wouldn't have been a mid-table team. That's the difference. You have to beat shit teams like Aston Villa at home if you don't want to be a mid-table team. You have to. There's no ifs and maybes, buts. No, you've got to get the win. So I'm just truly, truly disgusted by the performance today. I wanted to watch an entertaining game of football. I didn't really get that. I mean, credit to Aston Villa. Look, I'm calling them shitty and all this stuff. It's because they are, but they come to United, they've done a really good job today. No teams fear Manchester United at the moment, you know what I mean? No teams fear Manchester United. It's terrible. The defence is there to be had. We spent 80 mil on Maguire. He's not really solved any problems at all. We still look just as ropey at the back there. He's selecting Lindelof. Lindelof, okay, he got the header today, but I actually thought his all-round defensive display today for United was actually schoolboy-esque. It was actually pitiful. Some of the marking that he did, it's like, what are you doing, Victor? And there was actually an opportunity that they had, which they didn't put in the back of the net, which was a true sitter, which was all caused by Lindelof letting his runner go. You see him make error after error after error every single week, yet he's still selected in the side. So that's Solskjaer's doing. He could drop Lindelof, he could play Twansy, he could play somebody else, he could give us some extra solidity at the back there if he so wanted to. But he persists with these players, just like he persists with bloody Messi Lingard, bloody Jesse Shingard, selling Shingards in Sports Direct if he wasn't a bloody professional footballer, that guy. So that is what's going on. The manager's not getting it right. I want him to learn. I want him to change. I want him to adapt. I want him to give faith in the youth. The fact of the matter is this, lads and lads. Let me just say this point, okay? He selected Juan Mata today. Doesn't deserve to be in the team, really. I rate him. He's done a good job over the last 5-6 years as a player, but he's not been good for United over the last 3 to 6 months. No way. Not good enough. Not good enough. Moment here and there, but generally not good enough. You've got to play these players based on form. He could have given opportunity to somebody else in that role. He could have given an opportunity to one of the younger, hungrier lads here, like a Gomez or just somebody else to come in there instead of Juan Mata. Play the youth. And if he had played the youth, let me just say this. United fans wouldn't be so much on his case. The fact is he's playing Fred. The fact is he's playing Mata. And they're not performing. The fact is he's bringing Jesse on after 12 months of underperformance. Those are the problems. If we see him being progressive, if he's gone, do you know what? Today, we're just going to play Levitt and we're just going to play Garner in the centre of the park there. Fuck it. We're just going to play those guys. You know why? Because they'll be just as effective as Fred and freaking Pereira anyway. Then we'd have all gone, do you know what? Maybe this season isn't all about the results right now. It's about building for the future. It's about laying the foundations and improving and looking at the long game. And that's what we've been doing. That's what Solskjaer's been doing, looking at the long game. He has tried to play some youth here and there. He has signed good, young, hungry players. Can't fault his signings. They're brilliant. He's made brilliant signings. Wan-Bissaka, James, Maguire, on paper, they're all great signings. And on the pitch, most of them are doing it out there too. And they're young. Really great signings for the next 10 years for United. Not just for now, but for the next 10 years. But the problem is, what you then got to do is actually play the players that deserve to play. Not just select the experienced players or the big names or whatever it may be. Not that we've actually got any big names anymore, because this United side is a shell of what it should be now. We don't have the big names anymore. We don't have the quality midfielders in there. We don't have the Beckham. We don't have the Giggs. We don't have the Scholes. Who've we got? Fucking Freddie Flintstone, yabba dabba doo time, stinking up the place in the centre of the park. Who've we got? Jesse Shingard. Would be selling your Shingards at Sports D if it wasn't for being a player at United. Who've we got? Andreas Pereira. Okay, he put in a great assist today. He's bloody bang average though. That's the biggest problem for United. Our midfield mediocrity. It's filled with just bang average players. No depth in there, no quality. Even stick Paul Pogba in there, back fit, it's still not good enough. We need to do a heck of a lot more in that midfield. We need to improve in January, no doubt about it. Now, the question I want to pose to you guys and talk to you, and I'll get into your comments and everything in a moment. I'm just getting all of my opinions out. I'm venting. I'm letting it all out at the moment, guys. It makes me feel better, okay? So let me do that. Then I'll get into your thoughts and opinions on what you think about it. But, come on. This is United. Villa come to United and make us look second rate. It's unacceptable. What I'd said in my live stream is absolutely true during my watch along, and that is, it's all well and good having a rebuilding period and looking to the future and looking to try and improve and play the youth and all this stuff, but you still have to perform to an acceptable level. And what I mean by that is nobody expects United to be challenging for the title this season. No, that would be overachieving. Underachieving would be doing what we're doing now. Even though we haven't got the best squad in the league, we still got some great players in there. Nobody can deny that Rashford and Martial and James are not exciting players. Nobody can deny that Wan-Bissaka's not a great defender and Williams is a great prospect and Maguire's an £80 million player and De Gea's one of the best goalies in the world. Nobody can deny those things. We are lacking in midfield. We are lacking another striking option. We are. But the squad is still decent. The squad is still capable of a top 7 finish in the league. And the fact is we are not hanging around those spaces at the moment. We're 9th at the moment in the Premier League. We're a mid-table team. And that is an underachievement for a team like United. It doesn't matter if you are 20th in the league. If you perform like a team who's 16th. If you're 16th, but you've got the budget and the squad and everything of a 20th, you're doing a good job. You're overachieving. Do you know what I mean? Whereas United are underachieving. Sheffield United, Wolves, they're overachieving. United are not even satisfactorily performing at the moment. And Solskjaer's got to take a lot of the blame for that, unfortunately. I want him to stay around. I do until the end of the season. It might not be a popular opinion. I know a lot of people want to see him go out now. But Solskjaer, he hasn't had that long, and he has made some good signings, and I like what some of the stuff he's done. He's got to learn from his mistakes and not make the same stupid substitutions and selections and be allowed to bring some quality in. If he can do that, maybe he can turn it around between now and the end of the season. But at the moment, he's not performing to a satisfactory level as a coach, as a manager. Behind the scenes, the team's not getting it. They don't look comfortable in their roles. Offensively, we've actually not been too bad recently, but today we were awful. Going forward, cutting them open. Didn't really know what Martial was comfortable doing today. Didn't look comfortable throughout the game. Didn't really latch on to anything. There was a couple of moments. He had one opportunity with his back to goal where he's turned and tried to chip it over the keeper, over the crossbar. Looked low on confidence, looked frustrated. Rashford did too. They all looked massively frustrated with the game today. And I think there's a lot to it. Of course, the midfield is a big problem. We're just not creating enough for these guys. They're not getting the service up there. When you can't get these players the service, they're not going to score. They're really not going to score. That's a big problem for us. Transitioning from midfield into attack, we don't have the players there in those positions. We're just bang average, lads and lasses. It's as simple as that. I would love for United to be overnight like how we should be. And to be honest, if we'd have won that game today, we'd have been up to 5th in the league, and that would have been almost, well, it would have been acceptable, wouldn't it? It would have been great. And I know I'm talking like it's the end of the world here, and it's only one game, and the difference is 9th and 5th. It's like we're really not that far behind then, are we? We're not that far behind, but it's just so frustrating when you see teams above you faltering. They're faltering. You know, okay, Spurs have done better recently, but this was an opportunity for us to go back above them. Arsenal have been slipping up recently. We've got opportunities to go above these teams. And every single time the opportunity is there, what do? We absolutely bottle job it. So we've got to have a look at the mentality. We've got to have a look at the coaching staff. We've got to have a look at the way we're going about it, because something's seriously wrong. And like I was saying, motivationally, I worry about Solskjaer. I worry about the fact that he can't have such a positive impact at halftime. I remember Fergie's team sometimes. They put in a dreadful first half. It's only natural. Sometimes players are just not up for it. Sometimes your tactics that you've told the players are not working. That's where in-game management comes in. That's where tinkering with tactics during the game and at halftime really influences the game. Something that Fergie was great at. Ability to get the team motivated at halftime and change and just see a couple of things that need to be changed and make those changes. I don't see that from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I really don't. I don't see him riding the players up. I don't see a reaction. There should be a chemical reaction taking place at halftime. And when they come out in the second half, it should be a different United side. Night and day. Because that first half performance was completely unacceptable. So you expect a reaction. It never came. It never came today. That's the problem. Right, lads and lasses, I mean, I've been ranting on for a significant amount of time. I'm absolutely pissed off about this. I want to say Jack Grealish, man of the match for them. Man of the match for us, I'd probably give to Dan James. It was a struggle to choose one because we were mostly shite. But Jack Grealish, what do you think about him? I'd like to see Jack Grealish made a Manchester United player. Not just based on this game, but based on how he's done all season long. He causes defences a torrid time. He did that today. The quality of the finish from the guy was brilliant. His general all-round play, the amount of times he skinned our players, the amount of times our players have had to hack him down just out of pure frustration to try and stop him was unbelievable. I'd like to see United sign him. I think we're lacking in those areas. We really, truly are. Players like him, players like Maddison, they make a lot of sense for United right now. Coffin fit there. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. Anyway, the performance today, where do you think it went wrong? Do you think the pressure is mounted to the point where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is actually going to get sacked now? I don't want to see it. I really don't. I hope that he's got the backing of the board until at least the end of the season. But what you have to remember, and what we have to talk about now, is Pochettino is available. Now, why do we want a melter like Pochettino, who took a much better squad to lower down than we are in the league and had a melt job with them over the last few months? Ask yourselves that. Why do we actually want him? Okay, he's built squads, he built Southampton, he built Spurs up, but in the end, he wasn't able to manage a top quality squad at Spurs, I don't think. Okay, got them to the Champions League final. Why did it all go wrong then? He's melted. Do we want that? Is that any better? Is that the problem at United? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer truly the problem at United, or is the fact that we don't have the squad at United the problem? Is the fact that we sold Sanchez and we sold Lukaku and we let Herrera go and we didn't replace a single bastard one of them? Is that the real problem at United? There's lots of problems at United. Solskjaer's one of them for sure. He's got to improve, but, you know, I'm not just going to say Ole out right now. I'm just not going to say that. Abbas Hassani comments and says 6 points to relegation. I mean, yeah, we're currently languishing 6 points ahead of relegation, but we're only a couple of points off 5th. So, you know, there's not that much in it. It looks worse than it actually is. With one win and a team above us slipping up, we could go above them again. But we actually have to take advantage of those opportunities when they come, which is not going to be that often, is it? Comment here from Dennis Suho Litko, who comments, sack Woodward, start the rebuild of Man United. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm 100% with you. I think the main problem at United is actually Woodward, the chief exec. I don't think he runs this club properly. If you look at the wage structure that he's implemented over the last few years, it's taken us into some serious problems, like Sanchez situation and stuff like that. And now we're sort of trying to recoup by getting rid of players at cut prices and all that type of stuff. And if you look at the way that the lack of transfer movement to truly back the manager. We saw it with Jose Mourinho the season before he left, because he was so frustrated in the summer, he actually had to publicly speak about the lack of defenders that he got and the lack of players that he got in the window. And that's all down to Woodward. It's down to the owners backing the manager. Sure, we spent a bit of money, but we also recouped a lot of that money, allowing Sanchez to go, allowing Lukaku to leave, getting Chris Smalling off the books for the year. You know, we've recouped a bit of that money. United is an absolute Goliath in terms of a commercial entity out there in the footballing world. So it's only right that we really have the ability to manoeuvre like one in the transfer market. And we didn't. Why is that? Because we've got tight-fisted owners who are just thinking about the buck, trying to suck as much out of the club, don't truly want to invest in this beautiful football club and get it back to rightfully where it should be. We've got a potato-headed twat in the chief executive position who's just basically Jim Carrey in that film Yes Man for them, who just says yes and hangs on every single waiting word for them, just does whatever they want to do, and doesn't provide the manager with the proper tools, who doesn't provide the squad with the proper players that we need, and barely gets good deals, whether it's transfer ins or transfer outs. We don't necessarily really get good deals. Sure, Dan James was a good deal, but, you know, the Sanchez situation, Lukaku, they've all crippled us over the last couple of years. I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you who's tuning in. I can see it's actually almost about 500 of you legends tuned in live right now, so thanks for stopping by on the channel. So pissed off. We'll get into your thoughts in a moment. Do us a favour though, if you are tuned in live, please smash a cheeky little like on this video and get your thoughts and opinions in the live chat, and we'll delve into that. What is going wrong at this football club? It's such a great football club. It's so frustrating. Like, we just need a bit of direction. We just need to rebuild. That's the problem. We don't have the players in certain key positions. We don't, as much as you want to say, we don't have a manager. We don't have a manager who's got the credentials of a top class manager, tactically, coaching, all this good stuff that comes with years and years of successful management. Some people are not even really cut out to be managers. Some people go 20 years in management and don't do piss all and just struggle at jobs and get sacked, a la Steve Bruce or something. And Steve Bruce is a decent manager. He's not a great manager, is he? But I tell you something about Steve Bruce. He knows when it comes to football tactics probably a lot more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does, simply because he's been in the game a lot longer. So we're lacking the experience in key areas, both on the pitch and both in terms of management. That's how I see it. And I love Solskjaer and I want him to be a success, but how much time is he going to get? The axe is going to be swung pretty soon, I'm sure. I mean, I would not be surprised, as much as I hate to think about it, I would not be surprised to wake up in the morning and see that Solskjaer has been sacked as United manager and see that Pochettino's been put in charge. Strikes me as the type of stupid move the Glazers might do and Woodward might do just to try and, you know, show the fans that they're trying to do something about it, and using Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the scapegoat. That's what it is. They'll be making Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a scapegoat right now. Right, let's read your comments. Thanks for tuning in and getting involved here. Patrick Lentas comments, Mourinho said about structure, and he was right. Pogba and Woodward made problems for that club. Fair play to you, Patrick. I mean, obviously Pogba wasn't playing today, but I do think that he has been a problem over the past few years. Very influential in the dressing room and just not good enough in terms of what he delivers out there on the pitch. Mourinho, if I was Mourinho, I would not be happy about how things went in that final season, that final summer transfer window. He did all right before then. He got us the treble the first year. He finished second behind a great City side and above a great Liverpool side in that second season. And then the third season, he wasn't given the investment in the back. He didn't get that £80 million defender that we needed. And so he got the right hump, and that's where it went downhill. Let's be honest now. Jose's a good manager. You know, we'll see what he does, but okay, maybe wasn't the right fit for United, but there's more than one reason why United were not successful under Jose. Comment here from Bat Taz, who comments 2020, the year of the liver bird. Filthy comment there, buddy. But yeah, Liverpool, they're looking likely to win the league now. They're a significant amount of points ahead. What are they, like 11 points ahead of City now? City just look like they've got a falter and an error in them along the way. Liverpool, they're playing badly and they're still winning. Like I said, I watched that Palace game. Palace were the better team, I thought, but Liverpool still won the game. That's a sign of a good team. If you can win when you're playing shite, then you know you're a good team. Lim Liang Wei comments, KD was a Liverpool legend too when he was jacked for JK, the FSG meme. There's lots of letters in there, pal. I don't even want to talk about shitty Liverpool right now. Let's talk about United. Nelson P comments, Pig, what do you expect from the upcoming games against Tottenham and City? What do I expect? Pain. No, honestly, I do expect pain. I expect pain like being punched in the face by Clubber Lang. in the first fight. That is what I feel like. Do you know what I mean? I think United are going to experience a lot of pain in those games because Mourinho, he's got the bit between his teeth as Tottenham manager at the moment. He's got a lot to prove, going back to an old adversary, the club that he's just came from. Actually, like the feeling, the need to win for Jose Mourinho will be absolutely huge. He'll be doing his utmost to do that. And you have to say, Spurs, they, as ropey as they've been all season long, since Jose's come in, they look revitalised. 3 games on the bounce, scoring goals. Sure, they're leaking goals at the back there, but importantly, they're scoring more goals than the opposition, and they're winning the games. Players like Harry Kane, players like Moura, players like Dele Alli, looking revitalised. Serge Aurier, he's done the job already of revitalising that Spurs time, which is a worry, because we've got to play them on Wednesday, don't we? We've got to play Spurs. And City coming up, I mean, I fear for the rest of the season for United, I do. And you know, with those 2 fixtures coming up, and if we don't get 6 points out of them, Ollie's pretty much sacked. I hate to say it. Depending on the results in those games, Ollie's sacked. And he might even be sacked after this result. Solskjaer may actually be sacked by the morning. I don't want to talk about... I personally don't want him out, but I think that it's the kind of move that potato head Woodward would do, because it uses Ollie as a scapegoat, and Pochettino's available there. A lot of the fans have said, oh, we want Pochettino. Look, Pochettino, what has he won, though? Do you know what I mean? It's like getting another David Moyes. He's done an all right job with the team in the league, consistently doing all right. Doesn't have that winner's mentality. It's all gone to pot at the end. He's like an Argentinian David Moyes, that man. What do we really want from him? Is that the biggest problem, though? Is it not the fact we don't have a midfield? Is it not the fact we don't have a striker, really, other than Martial, who is only really turning up half the time? Is it not the fact that, you know, with the way the club is run and not supplying the team with the quality of players and the amount of players that we need? Is that what it is? I think that's what it is, mainly. Right, let's get into your comments then. Thank you for tuning in. Do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on this video. Get your thoughts and opinions in on the calamity that is United at the moment. Praveen Ibanathan comments, Zidane wasn't given the hot seat easily. Lucky Ollie. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Zidane at the time. You know, what do you guys think? I want to see what sort of a split there is in the live chat here. How many of you want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to stay? How many of you want him out? Honestly, just give me your knee-jerk reaction right now. BB Fane comments, Ole is a third-rate manager. I mean, if you're talking about historically what he's won, you know, winning a title with Molde in the Norwegian league doesn't really impress me much, pal. It's not really measurable. It doesn't mean anything in terms of managing in the Premier League. So he's not great. Rachel comments, Pochin. Rachel, you obviously want Pochettino to be United's new manager. Fair enough. Look, I can understand it. I do actually rate Poch. I know I'm berating him here, saying he's an Argentinian David Moyes, but I do rate him. What he's done, he did a good job at Southampton building that team up. Brought some great players in, brought some great players through, and they played good football and overachieved. Tottenham, he took them on to the next level, really. Sure, they couldn't win that Champions League final, and they've dropped off this season, but over the 5 years, you have to say the style of football, the way they've gone about it, the squad he's built, which is a world-class squad, the development of the players in the squad, he's done an excellent job. So, look, Pochettino, as much as I hate to say it, and it's more so out of a love for Ollie that I've got, Pochettino's probably next in line for the job. He really, really is. People talk about Allegri, whatever, but I think Pochettino is the man. Now, if Ollie, between now and the end of the season, doesn't improve and doesn't step up, you'll probably see Pochettino give the job. You really will. It seems like it makes a lot of sense. And the managerial merry-go-round will continue. And Mourinho's over at Spurs. We've got Pochettino at United. We just swapped over. Will it really improve anybody better than the situation before? Maybe, maybe not. But the biggest problems at United are not the manager. That's my personal opinion. Ty Shelty comments and says, is Ollie worse than David Moyes? I mean, statistically, you have to say, I think he is actually worse than David Moyes. David Moyes didn't get the whole season there. In hindsight, he should have perhaps got a little bit more time. But what you have to say is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, I guess he is worse than David Moyes, because if you look at where we are, we've got the least points in the league since 1988. 1988-89 season, United are on 18 points now, actually. At this stage of the season, you have to go as far back as then to find another season when we've had as little points by now. So that tells you the story. Obviously, Moisey did have more points than this particular team did at this stage of the season. I remember David Moyes being in charge, and yeah, okay, it wasn't going great in the league, and we weren't playing that great of football, really. but we still were smashing the odd team here and there. We still absolutely ripped open Leverkusen, who were flying in the German league at the time. We smashed them 5-0. I still remember situations like that in the Champions League and stuff, like where we've shone, where we've delivered, where we've done the business. So I don't know. I think it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad. But what I would say is the squad now is worse. We don't have the RVPs in this squad now. You know, we're missing certain players. We don't. If we had a Robin van Persie in this side right now, even a Robin van Persie now at his age, we'd be doing a lot better because he's a natural born finisher. There were so many times today, like Gungshi, my good friend in the chat, was pointing out during the watch along that if we had a Robin van Persie, he'd actually be there for the great passes in from Dan James. He'd actually be there because he's got that poacher's instinct. He's got that positional instinct. He knows when to run. He knows when to stay. He knows when to find that pocket of space. It's an instinctual thing. And he's got the finishing ability too. So that's a big problem. We don't have that player right now. Martial's great. He's good. He's silky. But he doesn't have that natural ability in that position, I don't think. Certainly not to the level of like an RVP or whatever. Anyway. Steve Johnson, thank you for your super chat there, buddy. He's commented with his 2 pence and he's commented and said, sorry, Ollie needs to go. Not impressive for 9 months. The time doesn't really lie. The time doesn't really lie. And like I said, it's about delivering with the tools you've got. You either satisfactorily perform, you underachieve, or you overachieve. And right now, we're near underachieving, aren't we? And 9 months, it's not good enough. Okay, the first period when he came in as interim manager, he's smashing it all over the gaff. United were brilliant. We went 10 games, 11 games, absolutely unbeaten, playing great football, smashing opposition open, Pogba on song, everybody looking great, and then it just went to absolute shit. It really did. I don't really know why either. Like he's a great. I just really don't understand it. Gungshi with a super chat here. Thank you very much. Comments, Pig, I fear it's back to the misty mountains for Ollie unless he changes things around fast. To do that, he needs more and better players. Potato Head is at fault as well. Yeah, let's not forget we sold Sanchez, Herrera, let Herrera go, and also Lukaku, and we didn't replace any of those 3 players. We improved defensively. Okay, we got Dan James. Actually, I suppose you could say it's a sort of replacement for Sanchez, but it's not really, because he was just a young man. I don't think any of us were expecting Dan James to really have the impact and the influential role in this team already at his age. We all thought maybe it's a bit more one for the future, you know? So anyway, he's brought these players in and they've been good signings, but we haven't got the players to replace the players that went missing in the window. We haven't done that, and that's a big loss. That's why our midfield's so shit. That's why when Martial was injured for a couple of months earlier on in the season, we couldn't score any goals. We don't have the backup. We don't have the depth there. So there's lots of reasons, but I agree with you though, Gunshaw. I think, look, unless Ollie gets some sort of a great result in the next couple of games, and bear in mind the next couple of games are Spurs and City in the league, right? Unless that happens, man, I just don't see him keeping his job. Unless he can win both of those games or draw one and win one, I don't see him keeping his job. You cannot get smashed by Tottenham and you cannot get smashed by City, where we are currently in the league in 9th position, and expect to keep holding your job, unfortunately. In this modern game of football, it's underachieving. It's underperforming as manager. The team is underperforming. Abam Shang, thank you Gungshi for your super chat there. Abang Sham TV comments, Ollie must stay. Abbas says Ollie out. Hallam says Poch in. Gungshi, Pig and Hen manager and assistant coach. Ifar Muscroft says we need Pogba. It's a little bit mixed, but there's certainly more Ollie out people that I'm seeing today. And I think it's just got to that point where a lot of people are just tired of the same mistakes being made. Tired of the same Drury tactics on display. Tired of not being able to get the best of subpar opposition at Old Trafford. Our home form's terrible. The way we go about it's dreary. We make it difficult for ourselves every single time. I think where a lot of people are struggling with the selections that he makes sometimes. Like I'm saying about Mata playing today, Lingard, Fred and Pereira in the centre of the park there. There's argument to say that Lindelof shouldn't be anywhere near the team, even though he scored. So there you go. It's a terrible time to be a United fan. The team's a complete shadow of what it should be anyway. Right, let's read a few more of your comments out. Aaron Sutcliffe says the job is above Ollie's managerial level. Well, let's be real now. Ollie's managerial level is what? Like a championship manager or something? Like somebody who's got the experience of maybe managing a Norwegian team and then managing Cardiff City and getting sacked. That is the managerial experience that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had before coming to United as interim boss and eventually getting the permanent role. Experience is not on his side. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have the experience, which I guess is why we're seeing a lot of the problems occur now. It doesn't mean that he can't go on and be a great manager and get this United side performing. He's just going to have to learn from the mistakes that he makes and do better next time. But then sometimes you've just got a natural flair with these sorts of things. I mean, if we look at Frank Lampard over at Chelsea, I know it's easy to say this because they are in a higher position than us and they are doing better and playing football and scoring goals. But he just seems to be going in there and doing a good job. He's doing a good job. They're playing good football. The young players he's bringing through that he's selected and put faith in are performing. You know, Pulisic is given the opportunities too. He's doing it. Tammy Abraham's doing it. Mason Mount's doing it. All players that would only really be playing for Chelsea because of Frank Lampard. I don't see a previous Chelsea manager deciding, oh, do you know what, we're just going to promote Tammy and promote Mason. No, he's worked with them at Derby. He's brought them on, so he deserves a lot of praise for the way that he's developed the players at Chelsea and the sort of football that they're playing overnight, especially when you take into account the 4-0 smashing they took first game of the season against Solskjaer's United. He's learned, he's adapted, he's improved. They've evolved in a short time, whereas United, we're not really evolving, are we? The Saint comments, like the video. Yes, lads and lasses, there's a whole bunch of in here. Thanks for stopping by on the live show. Not too much longer left. But if you are tuned in, smash a cheeky little like on this video. Show your support for the channel. Appreciate each and every one of you who does do that. So thanks very much for stopping by as well and getting your thoughts in. XTRM Links comments, you're missing Ibra. Hey, I'll tell you what, that is what we need right now. Sign Zlatan Ibrahimovic up right now. I know he's just gone and bought half of that club over in Malmo or Sweden or wherever it, but he needs to come back to United because he was a leader, he was a finisher, he was a focal point, and he was just a quality player. We are lacking that. Imagine just having Zlatan Ibrahimovic in that team today instead of Martial. As much as I like Martial, I just don't think he's consistent enough. If you had Zlatan up there, with the service that he could have gotten today from Dan James, crikey, he'd have probably got a hatful. It's easy to say that, but if we had a Rude, if we had a Van Persie, if we had a Zlatan, they're getting a hatful out there today. That is the problem. We are lacking in certain key positions. Tracy Canuya comments, Man United need to score more goals. Absolutely, yeah. We definitely need a striker. There's talk about Haaland as well, coming over from Red Bull Salzburg. A player I'd like to see come in. But is he the answer? Maybe we need a bit more experience, a bit more quality up there. Anthony Martial, as much as I love the guy, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. He's not being that Michael Owen. He's not being that Robin Van Persie. He's not being that Zlatan. He's not scoring the goals. He's not Aubameyang. He's not. It's just not up to that level, I'm afraid. Jarvis Cocker with a cheeky super chat. Thank you very much, Jarvis, and thank you for being my latest Patreon follower as well. He comments, what did you expect? We have no midfield, and now we blame Ollie. That's a freaking joke. It's Woodward we must blame, not the manager. Fair play. I mean, I respect what you're saying, but at the same time, though, Jarvis, I completely agree with you. I think that he's not been given the right tools and the midfield shite. But Solskjaer is getting this team playing a certain way. Solskjaer's job is to coach the players that we have there. I mean, really, if you look at Aston Villa's team, sure, they got some good players there. They really do. Grealish was on form today. He really was. But you telling me that their forward players are better than Martial and Rashford? I don't think they are. I think Rashford and Martial are better than them on paper. Are you telling me their defence is better than ours on paper? Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Williams and Lindelof, experienced internationals there. Lots of money, a huge amount of money assembled to assemble that defence. Theirs isn't better than our defence, but they're performing better. And there's only so much Woodward can do there, Okay, fair enough, we don't have the midfield, but the rest of the team, we need to be playing a certain style. The manager needs to get them performing. The manager has to do the job with the tools he's got. So as much as I love Ollie and as much as I hate Woodward, he's got to take some of the blame here. It's not just about Woodward not giving him the players, because we've already got players. We've already got Fred, who cost £50 million. £50 million. Okay, he's not worth £50 million, but that's how much we bloody paid. Pereira, we've got him. We've got players there that are decent. So he's got to get the best out of them. Do you know what I mean? Like last year, if you look at Chelsea and if you look at Mason Mount and Tammy Abrahams and those sorts of guys, why are they suddenly performing so well? Why are they suddenly in the Premier League stepping up and performing? Because of the way that the team's playing, because of the way they're being coached, because of the faith they've been shown in them. They're being managed well. That does make a big difference. I mean, Jarvis, I love you and I love freaking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, okay? But he's got to take some of the blame here. Daniel Peterson comments, would you consider Nuno Santo from Wolves? My answer to that, honestly, Daniel, would be no. I know he's doing a good job. I know he has done a good job. But I think there's better candidates. The problem with managers like that, it's like, I think we need to have, it's a big club and it's a big job for anybody. And we need the right manager in there. Not to say he couldn't do it, but I think Pochettino makes more sense. I think Eddie Howe makes more sense. Somebody who, I mean, imagine if Eddie Howe got the job. He hasn't had the budget. He doesn't have the big club experience. Definitely not. But he does have managerial experience. He's got the experience of taking a club right from the foot of League Two up to where they are now, which is a solidified Premier League side. That means he can develop players. That means he's got an eye for players. That means he's good at managing the finances within the club. That means he's done it at the very lowest level, probably had a lot of responsibility doing those sorts of things. Not that he'd get that responsibility at United, but he would have the ability to develop a team, I think. We'll see what happens there. Thank you very much for your super chat as well. Absolute legends getting in here. I'll just make sure there's none that I've missed, because I do appreciate everybody that sends them in, and anybody who I've missed. Steve Johnson, I missed one from you earlier, pal. He comments, Poch, Emery, Ollie has to go. So you'd actually rather have Unai Emery as Manchester United manager instead of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Are you taking the absolute freaking urine, my friend? Do you know what I mean? You'd rather Emery, a disgraced Dracula who's just been sacked by Arsenal for underachieving and underperforming. You think he is the answer? No, fair enough, Steve. I can see what you're saying. Poch, he's been sacked and disgraced. Emery, he's been sacked and disgraced. Ollie, he's not sacked yet. Not really truly disgraced. But you know what? Let's replace him with two sacked disgracers. Fair enough, though. He says, we all know this. Admit it. Cheers from Canada. Thank you very much for showing your support there from Canada, mate, and getting your opinions in. That's what this game is. It's a beautiful game of opinions. Northern Nightmare, great to see you in here. Thank you very much, pal, for your super chat. He comments, buy some calms. Otter dog shit today. All the best, geezer. Thank you very much, Northern Nightmare. Top man. Thank you for the super chat. And, yeah, we were otter dog shit, and I would love to buy some calms, except they give me freaky nightmares, my friend. It's like they might chill me out when I'm awake, but they certainly do not when I'm asleep. Some sort of issues with those. But thank you very much there, Northern Nightmare. Much appreciated. And yeah, I fully agree. United are just dog turd, bang average shite at the moment. Alex Rudd, great to see you in here, pal. He comments with a super chat, watching Ollie makes me scared that we have Ljungberg. So yeah, you got obviously Freddie Ljungberg today. I think, have you drawn 2-2 today? Ljungberg out? Are you Ljungberg out, Alex? As an Arsenal fan? I mean, that's another thing. It's like the managerial merry-go-round is ridiculous. Everybody is so quick to sack managers now. I mean, the other week I was actually disgraced at Spurs for getting rid of Pochettino. He got them to the Champions League final. He's built their best squad in my lifetime over 5 years. He's had a few months of shoddiness, but before that, he was brilliant. He was faultless. What do? They make the chop, they make the sack straight away. Where's the loyalty? Where's the patience for a manager these days? That's what makes me think United shouldn't be that type of sacking club. I don't want to be a Chelsea. I don't want to be that type of sacking club where you get a few months in the job, you don't perform, you go. Stuff takes time, especially at United when we're not throwing money at everything. We don't have an oligarch in charge throwing money at the club. We've got the Glazers in charge who, if anything, are taking money out of the club. It makes it a very difficult situation. You've got to play smartly. You've got to build smartly. You've got to build for the future. So that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, Freddie Ljungberg at Arsenal, I never saw that one coming. I don't expect it to be a permanent thing, but we shall see. Like you said, watching Ollie makes me scared that we have Ljungberg. He could play himself into the position, and does he even have the managerial chops? The answer to that, my friend, is no. Thank you very much for getting in there. Absolute legend. Let's get down then. We've been rambling on for nearly an hour here, by the way, and I've already done a 2-hour watch-along, so this is how much shite I've got to get off of my chest today. United are shite, aren't they? Just terrible performances all around. We've got a bunch of melters up there. Who are our attackers? Do you know what I mean? Have we got Martial? Have we got Rashford? Have we got James? Or have we got the bloody Jonas brothers up there? Because they're about as effective as those twats. Do you know what I mean? Navaneev comments, Pig to be our manager with Hen. Listen, if Pig's going to be manager, I don't need the water to be dirtied by Henry Hotspur and his filth tactics, all right? Okay? We're going to play beautiful, okay? David Cunningham comments, Rodgers is overhyped. Look, Rodgers is doing a good job at Leicester this season, but I'm with you, pal. I'm with you, okay? I think he's overhyped as well. Look, Celtic, they're expected to win every single time. Invincible's great. Bottled it with Liverpool, though. And, hasn't won anything yet with Leicester. So let's just wait and see. I think he's overhyped, but you have to admit he's doing a good job. Would I want him to be United's manager? Absolutely not. No, I just don't want it. I think the players at Leicester are the main factor of them being so good. Alex Rincon comments and says, like the video. Thank you very, very much, my friend, for always supporting and always promoting the channel as you do in the chat. Top man. Smash a cheeky like on this video if you are tuning in. Get your thoughts and opinions in. I'm just going to stick around for 2 minutes more because I'm fully aware that I'm rambling on non-stop here for almost an hour of just absolute cod shit. So get your thoughts and final thoughts in and I will go into them. Monclair comments, the geezer from Ajax for me. Good with youngsters and plays the right way. Yeah, fair play. I mean, you can't deny that Ajax, the way that they've improved and developed players over the last few years and the way that they play on a shoestring budget is excellent. And we could do with a bit of that. We could do with a bit of Edwin van der Sar in a director of football role. That's what we really need. Somebody like that to come in there who can really lay the foundations and build this football club back up to where it should be. I'd love Edwin van der Sar to come in. He seems to be doing a fantastic job. I know he's not the manager over there, but he's like the director of football. That's what we need. Gungshi, thank you very much for your support with that little cheeky cat saying good job. Legend, Gungshi, thank you very, very much. Appreciate all the support you've given me today on the channel and all that good stuff. Top man, legend. Everybody else is a legend tuning in. AJH, JP, David Grabham, Wasim Rohuman, Guru Buddy, Saeed Shah, Matt Lewis, Dylan Weston. Just shout out to you all, do you know what I mean? David says, where will you finish? I mean, honestly, I think we still are capable of finishing the top 6 this season, regardless of whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's still manager or not. I don't think we're that far away. I just think with a couple of great signings in January, like if we could get 2 really quality midfielders, let's say we could sign, I don't know, like a real good defensive midfielder, somebody like an Ndidi or a Kante, somebody like that. I know people are rating Rice. I'm not so keen on him personally. And then if we could have a really good creative midfielder, somebody like a James Maddison or a Bruno Fernandes who can chip in with goals too. Jack Grealish has really impressed me recently this season. Michael Collins, thank you very much, my friend. Tracy Kinua, shout out to you. John Allen. Patrick Quinn comments, his tactics are not good enough. He's got to go. The first couple of March was the players. Oh, okay, first couple of good performances for when he took over in March was down to the players. Well, I think a lot of that's true. Solskjaer would have just said to him, look, go out there and play freely, do what you want and go at them, basically. I'm sure he would have just motivated like that. He didn't have a long time to work with them. And the players really had a point to prove that it was all Jose Mourinho's fault, especially players like Pogba. That's the best spell of football we've seen from Pogba in his whole United career, which is when Jose was sacked and Jose had a bust up with him and he had a point to prove to say F you to Jose. That's the best time we've seen from Paul Pogba. And that tells you everything about the man, really. Right, lads and lasses, I'm going to wrap this video up before we turn into an actual pumpkin at the hour mark for the post-match show. But I want to say thanks to you all for stopping by. Shame it's not more of a positive video. I'm completely hacked off with United and the way we're going about it. Solskjaer, the pressure's massively on now with the fixtures we've coming up next. I'm honestly not expecting him to stick out now. I think he will be sacked soon. As sad as it is to say, I think the owners we've got in charge, the lack of faith they've shown in the managers over the last couple of years with investment and stuff, I think they'll make the chop. I really do. I think you'll be looking at Pochettino in the role soon. And I hate to say that. I don't say that lightly. I'm not trying to cause any sort of controversy or stir anything up. I just truly believe, I don't think our board and our owners have the bottle to stick by Solskjaer. I think they'd rather use him as a scapegoat and give the job to somebody who's got more of a historical CV when it comes to managing. And you can understand it, to be fair. But there we have it. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks to you all for stopping by. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Shout out to you all. If I didn't read your comments out, I apologise. You know I would love to. There's a bunch coming through. Come back once this video is finished and get them in the not live comments and I will try and get back to everybody in good time. Just going to do a few shout outs at the end here. Lee Matthews, Illy United, Big D, Shiju9492, Daniel Patterson, Chris Wheatley, Roy Keane, Part 12th, Part Wolf, John Allen, Matt Hotchin, Pepper Red, David Grabham, Saeed Shah, everybody else. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for stopping by. Do smash a like on it. You can follow me on social media up here. Please do that. But there we have it. United drop points at Old Trafford once again to Aston Villa this time. A team we should definitely be doing better against and getting the better of. Not able to do that. United are truly shite. We're struggling. What is it down to? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. I hope you've enjoyed the watch along today and also this post-match reaction. True bunch of legends. Have yourself a bloody good one. But seriously though, now is the time. Do or die for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United. We have Spurs coming up. We've got City coming up. They're must-win games. They're unlikely that we're going to get the win in those games. So I'm feeling pretty negative about Solskjaer's chances of seeing the year out as manager, to be fair. It's December 1st now. I'm not so convinced he's going to see the year out, but I hope he does. Anyway, lots of love to all you lads and lasses out there. Have a bloody good one. Pepper Red comments and says, Liverpool fan liked it. Thank you very much. So we've got a like on it for a Liverpool fan. That means there's no reason for you not to chuck one on there too. Anyway, shout out to the Patreon followers as well and everybody who supports on Patreon. The end credits are dedicated to you guys. They're coming up in a moment. Just want to say, have a bloody good one, even though United are shite. I will see you very, very soon on the channel. Of course, we've got Spurs coming up. Jose Mourinho coming back to Old Trafford. It's pure filth. What do you think's going to happen? Can we get the result there? That's what we need. If Solskjaer's even still manager of that game, he needs that win. He needs that win over the special one. Not feeling too confident about it now. Right, lads and lasses, here come the Patreon credits. You have yourselves a bloody good one. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Come on, United. Sort your bloody lives out, you useless bunch of pansies. Dun, 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 dun. Wrong music. Anyway, this is just a little part of the show where I just talk COD at the end, it seems like now, after doing a bloody rant video and all that shite where I talk about the star patrons, the people who support this channel on Patreon. Link in the description. Much appreciated. I think we've got 7 or 8 of you legends now that do support the channel, so thanks. Alex Rudd legend, Alex Recon legend, El Khalul legend, Matt Norton legend, Lucinda Green legend, Robbo legend, Liam White legend, Gungshi legend. Also, Jarvis Cocker needs to be added to the list, legend. Right, guys, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for stopping in. I need to have a drink now. I think I'm going to inject vodka into my eyeballs. That's probably the way to go. Eyeball Paul it. That's the way. After a shit result like this, take it easy. Don't stop dreaming. This is the pig. Come on.